Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We continue with our series for the month of November, or Movember, the month in which we have focused and continue to focus on men and men's health. Movember, as you remember, was started with that in mind, to get men to be more aware of their health, and the focus seems to have been on things like cancer of the prostate and other issues. My name is Dr. Esa Zanambasi, and this evening I have the utmost pleasure of having a panel of ladies to give their opinion on men's health. And oh boy, I just cannot wait for the discussion. Now, I've asked this question before, I will ask it again. Are we concerned enough about our men to speak frankly and encourage lifestyle change? Are we? That's the question. So, what do ladies have to say? And when I asked that question, this is what came back. The answer was, we hold the health of nations in our hands as ladies. So the reason for focusing on men in November is that men are generally socialized not to complain, even when there are signs and symptoms. And yesterday I was at a meeting and I mentioned that, and the lady who was at the meeting just told everybody, there were men at the table, that listen to the doctor. I'm a widow and I know, because I didn't know that my husband was sick until he died, you know? So that is how it is, unfortunately. And the other unfortunate thing is that that characteristic is so exploited that we need to do something about that situation. So, okay. All right, sorry. I was just making somebody, one of the panelists came in. And then the next thing that we have to worry about as women and perhaps families is the cost to society. When the man falls sick, the ripple effect, the impact, the ramifications are quite severe and long-lasting. So let us have this discussion, because for there to be change, first there must be a willingness to face the current reality, which we are busy spelling out, and also to acknowledge that there is indeed a need for change. So I really hope that there are many men on this platform tonight. Otherwise, they can watch the recording. And this is the question: are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Okay, and basically, women and men are wired a little bit differently. Whereas a man wants a solution here and now, women might be a little different and think a bit long term. So it's actually a call to action for everybody, with the view to lead children by example. And so when we talk healthy lifestyle, we are talking things like diet, rest and sleep and time out, exercise, stress management, and supplementation. It's something that not everybody is used to. So the other thing that we really want to talk about is the diet. We really need to watch our diets, and that's because we are what we eat. So when all is talked about, a lot of people have symptoms that they keep quiet about, or they don't know where to turn anymore, and it becomes their normal, such as what you see on the screen. one common one is persistent fatigue. And then others are mood disorders. That is something that is also focused on in the month of November. Memory loss and brain fog. Okay. And then the last one on this list is the weight changes that again have become normalized. So when all is said and done, we need to remember a few things such as detoxification to keep the liver healthy. We need to remember the role of xenoestrogens. And for the guests on the call, welcome. I hope there are many guests. You might ask what xenoestrogens are. Those are the foreign or synthetic estrogen-like chemicals that are everywhere. And the sad thing is we actually buy them and bring them into our houses in the form of detergents and other cleaning products and personal care. So one of the things that we want to address is the whole issue of cravings. You know, a lot of people might start craving alcohol, food, and various cravings to dull the pain. That is a sign of poor health. And once you can identify it, men and women together, we can actually become healthier and know how to choose. So what have I said in a nutshell? The most important thing is to change our mindsets. And that is what we want to introduce the guests to. We belong to a family that is awesome and teaches us how to change our mindsets. And so I would like to introduce this group of my dear sisters. I wanted us to have a full representation across East Africa. Unfortunately, our sisters in Tanzania that I had approached were unavailable, but never mind, we've got Uganda and Kenya here, and Tanzania is welcome to participate as well. I'm going to ask each one to introduce herself. I'll start with Miriam and then go clockwise. Okay, so I'll start with Miriam. She's the eldest, I think, the most senior in the business. And I'm actually going to stop the share so that we can have a good look at these awesome, gorgeous, amazing women. So Miriam, you're welcome to introduce yourself briefly, and then we'll start the discussion after everybody has introduced themselves.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eseza. And everybody on this call, I'm so glad to see you once again. My name is Miriam Kanakulia, and I've been married to Sam Kanakulia for the last 38 years. We actually made 38 on the 16th of November, and we have children and grandchildren. I'm an agriculturist by training and a social worker by employment, a businesswoman by interest. I started this business in 1996, and I just realized that actually we were still young. I happened to go to the same school with Dr. Eseza. She was 1 year below me, but we hold so many values together. And so we started this business when we were still young, and it was really something which a young person like me wouldn't have taken up, but because of extra income, it was actually not mainly for health, but for extra income. So that's why we got started. Luckily enough, it was my husband who came with it from South Africa, and I thought it was a good idea. I picked it up and we started running with it. So this is something which has been exciting. It's an exciting journey. 28 years down the road, I'm still going strong. I've seen people's lives change, and I believe that everybody on this call is going to have a similar experience, just like me. Thank you, Dr. Eseza, for that.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let us have Grace introduce herself, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eseza. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yes.
everyone on call. My name is Grace Chege. I'm doing this call from Nairobi in Kenya. I'm a mother and I'm married to my business partner, Cesar Gitangu. I'm also a HR by profession. This business found me when I was in the office, and I said yes because we wanted additional income. Today, I'm very happy. I'm 9 years in this opportunity. And today I can say I'm a different mother, I'm a different friend, and I'm a different wife. The reason why I joined because of money, because it's me who said yes. But today the greatest thing is that we are doing this business together with my husband. And also this opportunity has opened my life to the world of entrepreneurship. As I've told you, I was employed. So all my life through employment was, going to the office. I never thought of being a business person, but today I'm very, very happy because besides many things, I've become an international business lady. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Awesome, thank you. So now let us listen to Susan. You'll introduce yourself. I hope you're on. Okay. If she's not yet on, because I unmuted her, I thought. Okay, let's just go straight to Zaituni, please, and then we'll come back.
All right. Okay. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zaituni Kachano. I usually summarize myself these days as a teacher without borders. I'm an artist by profession. I'm a teacher by profession. I'm a counselor by practice and profession. I am a life coach, and I'm an excited and enthusiastic distributor with Neolife. I started this business last year in July. Actually, I made a year this year, and I'm so blessed that I made a year as I became a director in my business. I found this business while I was starting an investment club, where one of my old girls was going to take a sachet that I found out later that is called Pro Vitality Sachet. I got interested in the sachet, and she told me that if you use Pro Vitality, there are so many things that would happen to your life. And she mentioned so many things, but one of them that piqued my interest was the improvement of immunity. At home, I am a mother of 10 children, and one of my children, that is my 9th child, was born with what we call Downism. It's not so bad, but then it was a challenge. It was a big challenge because by 3 and 7 months, he had not walked. And being a mother, I had gone up the hills and down the valleys, doing everything that everybody had told me. And here I was being told to use omega-3, TRINN, and CalMag, hoping that it would help my son. And from August to October, my son was able to stand up and walk. Today, to me, that is my springboard. I say that I'm going to do this business. I'm going to share this information for the rest of my life. I'm so happy that I'm here. I am a relationships coach. I do a lot of marital counseling. I have found that there are so many things that are disturbing our marriages because of our men's health. Thank you, doctor, for giving me this opportunity.
Wow, I'm so glad you've actually introduced that topic. So we'll come back to you. But right now, I would like to invite Grace to give her story about the trauma, if I can call it that, if you don't mind, of having a husband that was unwell, and then the way it turned out happily after that. So Grace, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And I love the topic of today. As I had shared this, the last 9 years have been awesome. But I want to say I got married young, and the journey started well. And I always remind people that when we go to weddings, we hear people saying for better or for worse. The second year, before the second year in my marriage, my husband Caesar started telling me he has a headache, and it was just a normal thing to have a headache. So we didn't take it seriously. But after some time, I realized that he's always having a painkiller, that is Panadol, and he seemed like he's not okay. And one day in the morning, he could not be able to stand up. And it was very sad because he was even asking me if the radio is on. And he told me that I hold him, and he could not even be able to stand. So that was the first time we went to Kenyatta National Hospital, and I had to engage my mom because I had to call for help, because I remember even to take Caesar down to the car and so that we can go to the hospital. And this was sad because it was a bit confusing. You've slept with someone, they've opened in the morning. Yesterday there was not so bad, and come the next day they cannot be able to stand. And we started with Kenyatta National Hospital, and I was really eager to understand what has happened to him. So the doctor asked me so many questions I had to answer, and that is how we began a journey of endless trips to different hospitals. And I remember the first doctor said that they have to check whether there is a tumor and the history of headache and so many things. And I remember moving from Kenyatta Hospital in 2 weeks' time. We went to Mpisha. And all this time, I want you to know that I am employed. My husband has a business. And I can tell you health is so important, because in less than 2 months, my husband's business was not working because he is the center is in the center of it. He was in the center of it. But I continued going to work, and by the grace of God, he got a bit better, and we continued. But as you know, going back to the doctor again, we found out that there are new things happening to him. His speech was slowing down, and high blood pressure set in. This was the first time, I want you to know, that in a very young marriage, I had not seen anybody so sick in my life. And I was introduced to, to taking care as if, yes, I'm going to work, but I'm like there as a caregiver. I want you to see, not just as a caregiver, but I want you to see the young wife in me. And it was not easy. I remember when his nerves, the doctor said that his nerves are failing, and they started giving him, I know Dr. Eseza, neurobines. He started taking a lot of neurobines for his nerves. And this was a confusion for me because he was getting from worse to worse. So he got a mild stroke. He recovered from it. And when I say he got a mild stroke, it's not like today and tomorrow it recovers. No. It was almost like another 6 months. And I became this lady who is not sure about tomorrow. And let me tell you, I was so tired of from one hospital to another because we were always trying to look for a solution in Kenya. My husband was under so much medication that per day was taking almost 6 to 7 times of medicine. And I remember when it got worse and the doctors told me that, we are trying this, we are trying, they were really doing their best. we looked at alternative ways and we went to India. But I want to bring to your attention that all this time, the finances were going down. And I have always shared my story that one of the biggest things was the rent. We had rent arrears, we had debts, and what was even more sad is that some people that were helping us were getting tired of helping us, and everybody was there asking what is really happening. And people can really be annoying that what kind of disease is this? And I tell them the doctors are saying that his nerves are failing. And I didn't have the actual answers, but I did my very best to research his condition. And when we went to India, our son was very young. I had to leave our son behind with my sisters. It was not easy for me to board a plane for 2 months and stay in India, knowing that our son has been left behind, but I had no choice. And that's why this statement, when we say that your greatest wealth is in your health, is very true to me. Because we left for India with about 3 million Kenya shillings. We did a fundraising. And let me tell you, to stay in India for me was not easy. I remember my skin changed. I had pimples all over. It was a lot of heat. But guess what? After 2 months, we were back home and things were worse. No money, back to brokenness. I had to go back to work. And I can tell you the emotional strain was so much. And that's why I am so excited, more so to share my story and connect it with Neolife, because at that time is when I found Neolife. I can tell you the pain of debt, the emotional strain, and I don't know, maybe you might be on this call. Maybe it's not a husband, maybe it's your mom or your dad or a child. But let me tell you, as we talk about men today, men are the supporters. They are they're the heads of the home. They are the people who come in and, they are the head. Now here, the head was sick. I had to be the head. I'm young. It's getting a toll on me. And I was also a very sad young lady. That's why I always tell people that Neolife gave me back my smile. I know I meet people who tell me, Grace, you're always so happy. I tell them Neolife has given me back my smile. And especially, I want to say, the pain of debt was taken away by Neolife. And not only the pain of debt, is the grand change of my husband's health after starting taking the supplements, especially TNN. He was always tired. Garlic allium is a wonder. I tell you on this call, garlic allium is a wonder for high blood pressure. Talk about vitamin B complex. Talk about our wonderful products like Calmag. Today we always laugh. Sometimes I'm in pain and I'm unwell, and my husband laughs at me when I'm taking a painkiller or medicine and tells me, who could have thought that in this house I could be the most healthier person after being sick for so long? So the pain of my husband being sick over 6 years really was not easy. Back to you, Dr. Eseza.
Thank you. Thank you. And, with a testimony like that, we are going to give you the opportunity to give us encouragement. But with a testimony like that, ladies and gentlemen, why shouldn't we share what we've got, right? And so I don't know whether Susan is available. Susan, are you here?
Yes, Doctor, I'm available.
Oh, good. Awesome. Because you've got a similar story, and I've had the utmost pleasure of very recently meeting your husband. He'll probably tell you that we took a few pictures together in Dar es Salaam as we were dancing around. But give us briefly how Neolife transformed him.
Thank you, Doctor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen on the call tonight. My name is Susan Sabaiga Mwima. We've been together with Mwima for the last 25 years as husband and wife. We are grateful to God that He has blessed us with 8 children, sons and daughters. I'm a midwife. He's a clinical officer. I'm a poultry farmer. But for the last couple of years, around 18 to 20 years, my husband has been sick of diabetes and hypertension. It has been on, and he has been actually managing himself, and we've been actually moving on very well. And that was on until 2020, 2021. The condition worsened. He could no longer respond to the medications that were given to him by doctors, professors. We could not realize an improvement. Now, time reached, I lost hope that he could actually be alive. So now, as a poultry farmer, I had children who were still in school. And I now started planning, how am I going to go through this condition after the dad has passed on? So I now started planning how to double the poultry business such that I can get the money to pay school fees for my children, such that they can complete their education. Since my monthly pay as a midwife could not hold them in school and be able to fulfill other domestic requirements. So now it was at a time that I was looking for the super grow, because I had known that super grow can double one's garden yields. So now the person whom I contacted to get me the super grow just invited me for a training. I said, okay, if maybe I attend this training, I will have better farming techniques and skills. Let me go and attend. So when I came back from work, I shared with him. He said, it's okay. You can attend, maybe it will help you out with the school fees issues after I've left. It was not a good statement that he made to me, but I felt it was out of what he was feeling at that particular moment. So I turned up for the training. When I got there, I totally found something which was very different from what I'd gone for. Fine, Supergrow was mentioned during the training, but my mind changed when I actually started hearing about the nutritional supplements, how they can help someone with diabetes, hypertension, improve. I said, then this one could help my husband. But at first I didn't take it serious after I'd gone for Supergrow. Then afterwards, I now started having a meeting within myself. What if I leave these supplements and my husband passes on, yet they would help him? Oh, what if I take the Supergrow, then he passes on? Will I really be able to use the Supergrow? What can I do? I said, okay. After all, we've spent a lot and nothing much has been realized positively. Let me put this little money that they are telling me that if you put this little money, you will have partnered with Neo Life. We shall give you a starter package out of still this money. Let me put the money. So I had to pay that money. I signed up. I received a kit with Pro-Vitality. Actually, it was Pro-Vitality at first because I was just actually trying it out. Now, when I brought the Pro-Vitality to my husband, that was 2 days later, my husband started taking the Pro-Vitality. I'm happy to mention that on the 8th day, I was able to witness my husband walk out of the home He comes back telling me, I've walked such and such a distance. Actually, the distance, I can estimate it to 1 kilometer, just a single journey, then another kilometer coming back. It sounded so nice as well as strange to me. How could this one really happen? But it was the fact. And to date, as I'm sharing this testimony, since October, November last year, my husband has never again complained of anything. The glucose levels, after he added the botanical balance, they have now stabilized. The blood pressure is very okay. He has used the garlic, the zinc, everything is very fine. The vitamin B complex, the vitamin E. I tell you, I'm just happy for new life because it gave my husband a second chance to be alive. It gave me another chance to be a wife. It gave my children a chance to be able to experience the love, the care of a dad. I must say thank you to Neo Life. I'm very grateful to the person who showed me this opportunity. I'm very grateful. We are living a happy marriage life. We are living a productive life. We are happy. We are happy. I'm grateful to Neo Life. Thank you, Dr. Cesar.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Susan. And, you know, I forgot to bring my tissue. It's such a moving testimony from both you and Grace. Now, I just want to change tack a little bit and ask Zaituni. Zaituni, as you all heard her introduce herself, she's a coach, relationship coach. She does a lot of amazing work with people. And I was thinking to myself that she and I and all of us on the platform should brainstorm, should actually thrash this thing out, because as women, at least myself, having been a doctor is close on to 40 years, I've seen men suffer, and they can suffer enough to perhaps rest in peace. But the toll on the family, the toll on the children, the untold suffering is what really gets to me, okay? So Zaituni, as a relationship coach, as a family coach, as a mother yourself, a mother of a small tribe, how would you advise, and how can we brainstorm this conundrum that we are in, so that we really get the men on board as regards self-care, as regards agreeing that, hey, maybe it's important to watch a few things about their health. I'd love to hear what your opinion is.
Wow. I hadn't thought about it in that way. The tribe bit makes it more interesting. I now going to start saying I'm a mother of a tribe. Makes it more interesting. Thank you, Doctor. Well, I have been writing a few things here and trying to reflect on what happens in our cultures, or where we all come from, where the man or the boy child is brought up not to cry. We all know about the song of Big Boys Don't Cry, and how our men today, especially today, we all can testify that the economy, I don't know if it's a global challenge, but here in Uganda, our men are failing to get the money that can truly, you know, take their families to where they would wish to take them. And somehow men are wired to give. Naturally, a man is supposed to give, and it's so hard when they don't have enough to give. And society doesn't have a soft heart for them. Society doesn't have a soft spot for poor men, or men who are not doing well financially. And the men, we all have to appreciate that they are responsible for the 4 women. They are responsible for their mothers. They are responsible for, in addition, the mother-in-law on the side. They are responsible for their wives, the daughter and sister. Somehow they are looking out for nearly the whole community, and this is usually not given back to them. So we realize that them being not taken care of intentionally is a big loss to the whole world. When men rest, if a man chose to rest or take off some time, I want to say that they are tagged as lazy. They may be tagged as people who don't want to work, or who are not working hard enough for their families. So it's not common for a man to take off or for a vacation, to say that I'm going to spend maybe a month without working. It calls for a lot of growth for a man to get to that level. And usually men are too tired, physically, psychologically, and today even financially. And we realize that all these things that have been mentioned and not mentioned are making our men very, very fragile. Very, very fragile. Yet remember, we have grown up to know that the man is supposed to be strong, he's supposed to be brave, he's supposed to be, he's the leader, he's the head of the family, he's the breadwinner. All these very huge titles that have been given to them as, communally, culturally, and religiously. So there is no space for a man sick. The women that we look out for, women who come to us in our places, like the counseling and coaching, they do not have time to listen to a man who is emotionally unstable, for a man who is sick physically or any other way. So somehow the community not having space for a man being weak has rendered many of our men realizing their weaknesses or their health challenges very late. That is why we have many of our men dying. I've just lost my brother-in-law this year. His cancer was, found out at the 4th stage. And this is a sophisticated person, but somehow we all acknowledge that men do not go to hospital. They would rather buy a loaf of bread and milk and come home and cover themselves in a blanket than, go to a nearby clinic to just check why they're not feeling okay, why they have a temperature or something like that. So today, many of our men are not supposed to be sick. And the fact is they fall sick. So a lot of the challenges are found out when they are too late. And this is why we are losing a lot of very important people, very big, figures that would help the community. We are losing them because we are finding out their health challenges, their ailments at a very late stage. And of course, this calls for more money, and it brings in a lot of stress in the family, and we truly cannot afford this. So we call upon all of us here that women are good at taking care of themselves. For us, I have a friend whose birthday present to herself is a medical checkup. We call upon ladies, when you're going for a medical checkup, tag your husband along. Tell him that let's go and have this checkup, so that we don't find this love of our lives, the father of our children, having these, the lifestyle diseases, having gone to 4th stage or to, terminal stage. So it is truly a responsibility for all of us, for the community, for the wives, for the daughters, and all of us to look out for this, our lovers, our husbands, our brothers, fathers, and the head of the community. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. And now, for the men on the call, when we suggest to you that please come with me, I'm going for a pedicure and manicure, or even maybe a massage, and I've booked you in for a massage. Please don't freak out. That has been the experience, hasn't it? That the men think that is for women, that's not for us. Or other forms of self-care, like taking time out, coming back home and saying, okay, let us just go for a gentle stroll and talk to each other for a change. Something like that. Anyway, self-care is a big topic, and I just now want to call upon Miriam, who has had the privilege of travel, of lifestyle. Miriam, how would you advise a young couple starting out? Let's say they're in their 20s, 30s, or maybe even 40s, who are going on this treadmill, that hamster wheel of life. What would you advise them? Because you have the advantage of hindsight, don't you?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Eseza. First of all, we started this business when I was 36 years old. So I was still young. And many people at that age would think that health is not an issue. They're busy looking for money, and they wouldn't think of anything else. Children are in school. But one thing I realize is that women determine what sort of health is going to be in the family to begin with. If your grandfather used to eat a lot of meat in the whole family, you'll find that even the children and the grandchildren are going to consume a lot of meat in the family. So it sort of follows in the family line. The type of diet we have in the home, it is something which comes from maybe way back, generations back. And then the other thing which I've seen about families, especially young families, men do not want to talk about their sickness. It is very difficult for a man to say that I'm sick. Actually, by the time they get to hospital, they are really badly off. But they're always going to say, I'm okay, I'm okay. But it is something which is, I don't know whether it is genetic or what, but men don't want to give up that sort of, to show that I'm really sick. We have a friend who recently died, and this was a medical doctor. He knows everything about health, but he refused to take medicine for pressure. So his pressure went up to over 200, and then he got a stroke and he died. Not because he didn't know, but it was just stubbornness. So many times we have a challenge of young families having, questions like, I eat very well. I don't need, I'm healthy, but not knowing that in actual facts, they are very, very unhealthy. So for us, when we started, luckily enough, you start looking for money, but then later we realized that health was very, very important. And for me, because of my asthma, I embarked on that journey to get my health back. And of course, I did. So when it comes to these young families who are, looking at the future, let's not look so much at the money we are going to make. Because if you want to make that money and enjoy that money, you must be healthy. And I think having listened to Grace Chege's story, we all need to know that we need this health. We need these products. And actually, this calls for a very important, aspect of our lives, and that is the change of attitude. We have many people have a very wrong attitude about supplements, a wrong attitude about what we eat. They are going to tell you, my great-grandfather ate a lot of meat and he lived up to 90 years. Times have changed. The meat they ate is not the same as what we have today. Ours are treated, and, things have changed. Then also the change of diet, and then also to do away with stress. We need to, to help our partners or the husbands to do away with what? With stress. And also the issue of using supplements. This is something which is not very, very easy to get the men to use. Actually, if you hear like what Dr. Kabogo says, he tried the products on his patients before he used them himself. So there is that type of approach, the attitude. It's not good for me. It is good for other people. And once they get the others, on the products and they work, that is when they come on board. And I believe that we need to work on these issues. We need to help our young couples because there's a lot to come. For us, we have been there. We've been there for now 28 years. We have got the health. We have made the money. We have traveled the world, and we are still traveling. So I believe that whoever is on this call today, you need to think through your life. You may be here, you have the money, but do you have the good health? You may have the good health today as a young person, in your 30s, in your 40s, but what is going to come? You have a job today, but tomorrow the job will not be there. And many people die 1 year after retirement because that change really shocks the body. And if you are not ready for it, then you are going to have a very big challenge. There are times when we are still young, the children are still there, you have time to spend with your children. But as you grow older, they go away. So how are you going to spend the rest of your life without your children? You are there with your husband. If he's sick, then you're not going to enjoy the life. So it is important that we get all these people on board, and then we are going to have a healthier and a happier place. We make the world a healthier and a happier place. Thank you very much, Dr. Isaza.
Wow. Ladies, you are, I'm sure, have spoken to everybody in one way or another. Everybody's story, testimony, contribution has been totally valuable. And so I hope there are many guests here who may have heard of what we do in this family and have sort of sat on the fence for a long, long time. We invite you. So following all that you have heard, this is my question. Are you willing to invest in necessary lifestyle changes to free yourself and to give your families that assurance that you can live a healthier and happier life? I actually become very emotional. I might not have introduced myself enough, but I am a medical doctor. And really, this is something that we all know. We need to encourage ourselves to stay out of hospitals as much as possible. As Don Lawson used to say, stay out of hospital. It's the sickest place you can go. And really, if that is sort of like the future that people look forward to, we have solutions to share in this family. And we would like to welcome you to the family on a mission to make the world healthier and happier. And just a bit of background, we have a scientific advisory board who do all the research and development. And just in case you think they're just people, scientists, they are very notable. The gentleman who founded this board, Dr. Arthur First, was actually a pioneering scientist as far as cancer research and actual formulation of chemotherapy, oral chemotherapy. We have all these others who are current board members and are doing amazing things, and they have helped to simplify health. And as for me, I love the simple, obvious approach to things. So if anybody were to ask me, what do you do exactly? I tell them that I help people to demystify diagnosis. And this is how I do it. I generally tell people that as long as you can prevent disease by managing your weight, by some physical activity, and a good diet. And then there are other things like rest and relaxation, very important, and supplementation, which I'm about to show you. So as long as you can do that, and you are well nourished, and then make sure that the toxins are also not in your environment, you're good. You're good. And that is a message we should give to all young families as the children appear and grow up. So what do we have in our family, the Neolife family? We have the finest whole food nutrition since 1958. This product, please, for the guests and the visitors, get your hands on it. Turn to the person who has invited you and find out how you can get it, either as a customer of the person who has invited you or straight from the company. We have amazing products that we call core nutrition, and I've for years and years spoken about the shake. It is the only one on the market that will give you all the 22 amino acids that are involved in human nutrition. And also core is this set of products, and there you have that trianen again. But a big deficiency in everybody's diet is good quality, complete omega-3, and that's what we have here. Then only found in this family is carotenoid complex. You won't find it anywhere else. And it has been shown to improve the body's immune capability by a whopping 37% in 20 days. Now the difference, the Neolife difference is everything is sourced from food, real food, nothing synthetic. So just back to that vexing issue of diabetes, you heard the testimony about diabetes or blood pressure for that matter. The key is to control the blood sugar, the glycemic control. And this is where Neolife excels, because it gives you a good quality protein, balanced, complete with other food factors, and the body gets nourished. And once that happens, you give yourself what the body needs. But obviously, you have to continue eating as well as possible, as naturally as possible. Avoid those processed foods, please. And next, we need to remember the environment. Please, I can never do a presentation without talking about the environment. And now, remember that slide that I projected about hormone disruption? Well, for the all people on this call, the biggest source of hormone disrupting chemicals is what you go and buy month in, month out, called your detergents. If you change to what we've got, your body stops having its hormones disrupted. And that is the beginning of good health. So similarly, skincare, we have amazing skincare. So that is all important. So I just want to say that this is one of the drives for 2024 in this family, to have healthier men for a wealthier nation. And to that end, next week, I'm inviting a group of men who are going to tell us the business side of it and to assure us that, yes, it's important to work hard. But in this family, we say, work smart. And that's what they're going to discuss with you. So remember, in this month of November, when we have remembered men's health, may it be a month to remember. And I just hope and pray that for the guests, you have been greatly motivated, encouraged. You will talk to your men folk, be it husband, brother, father, whoever, and all of us as a family will pull together to make the world healthier and happier. So thank you for being here. I really look forward to next week. Thank you. And to the my panel, you are amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Eseza.
Pleasure.